Hello, everyone. Welcome to Moon Mage. Today's tarot messages are connected to that new moon in Cancer that's happening on June 25th. I always tell everybody to give themselves a second to look at the thumbnails, to really use your intuition to feel into which message is meant for you. I think that's super important that we use our own intuition to connect to the messages that we need most. For those of you that are interested in having a little bit of a overview about what this kind of energy will be coming in with that new moon in Cancer, you can stay here and listen to the intro around this. But if you're not, go ahead and look at the images, pick an image, and you can skip right ahead to your reading. But for those of you that are interested, this new moon in Cancer brings in a lot of emotional energy. And at times it can be heavy. It can be difficult because we're really wading through the waters of our feelings and our emotions, especially as they connect to home, family, safety, and security around our connections, whether they're romantic or otherwise. We're really going to be doing a deep dive into those kinds of energies to discern whether we feel the things that we want to be feeling in these areas of our life, at home, on the home front, in our friend groups, in our romantic partnerships, even in our connections at work. For some of us, where do we feel emotionally connected to our place of business? But it's all about our emotions with this Cancerian energy. I made a few notes here just so that I wouldn't forget anything. So a couple of things to watch out for is heightened emotions, negative emotions. We really want to be mindful of that because they will be heightened at this time, and it can be destabilizing. It's a really good time for us to be reflective, receiving, connecting through meditation, or going out for walks. Spending time near water would actually be very healing and soothing. There's a lot of healing energy that comes with this new moon in Cancer if we're open to it, if we're willing to sit with that and receive. There's also this big spiritual connection to the ancestors, so we might be receiving actual wisdom and guidance, not just from the spiritual realm, the angels, but from our actual ancestors guiding us towards emotional well-being, health and balance, safety and security, especially again as it relates to our home, our sense of safety and security, and our romantic connections and all of our connections where there's love at the forefront. So a couple of things with this. We want to be looking at our feelings around safety and security. We want to look at wherever we might need more support and how we can support others too, especially loved ones. This is a really good time for us to start new projects too. That's something I should have mentioned, especially projects where you have a strong emotional pull towards them. Like it just feels right, even if it doesn't make sense. You might want to begin looking at those kinds of projects and how you want to start them, and infusing all that positive emotional energy into them, because they will likely see liftoff if you do that. You want to be asking yourselves how you can enhance your emotions and your emotional life, your domestic affairs. You want to allow yourself to get really dreamy and hopeful, bring in the healing if you're in need of that, and allowing your intuition to lead the way. So making space for heart healing, emotional openness, intuitive connection, all good things at this time, all good things to be doing. But the biggest caveat here would to be very mindful if your emotions go sideways, if you recognize that you're in a lot of anger, unforgiveness, emotional dissonance, where you just know you're off and now wouldn't be the time to have the hard conversation. I will say though, this is about honoring all your emotions, even the ugly ones that we don't want to look at, and allowing them to be spoken out in a way that you can receive that support that you need. That's a big theme here with this new moon in Cancer. Either way, the best thing I can tell everybody is to lean into that yin energy at this time and get really reflective, receptive, open up to your ancestors' wisdom and guidance, because it will help to restore emotional balance where there otherwise hasn't been, or where there might be a need for it. So for those of you that stayed to listen to the overview about this new moon in Cancer, give yourself a second before you pick your message to look at those images and feel into which one is really speaking to you. And I will get started here with message number 1. Hello, message 1. So I went ahead and pulled all the main overarching energies ahead of time just to save some time in the video, but I like to look at them with everybody. I feel like it's better as far as using our intuition that way. So let's have a look and see what's showing up for my beautiful message ones under this Cancerian moon. Capricorn energy. Okay, so Capricorn energy is very connected to hard work, security, and stability, which is a big theme under this new moon in Cancer, especially on the home front. And it says achieve. So if there's some sort of need for safety and security somewhere in your life, especially if it's at home or even in your work life, that could be a thing too. This is suggesting that there is achievement here. There's stability that wants to come through, that their capacity to have security and safety is right there. It's waiting for you to discover it in some sort of way. Like you're capable of achieving this level of safety, security, positivity, all the things. Oh, okay. Honor your feelings. And it's coming on the side of challenge. And we are back into emotional energy here, Pisces energy. Watery, emotional. Sometimes Pisces energy can cause us to feel confused and disillusioned. That could be something that you're grappling with right now that maybe affects your ability to feel like you can achieve some sort of security, stability in your life, especially if it's in connection. But where might you need to allow your feelings to flow more, be open, look at them. Even if they scare you a little bit, even if they're uncomfortable, I feel like this is the big ask here. Honor those feelings. They need to be brought out. They need to be said so that you can release them, especially if they're ones that you're recognizing aren't helping you in any kind of way. Okay, we've got fire energy here, full moon in Sagittarius. See the bigger picture. Okay, so all the more reason to honor your feelings, right? What are you feeling? Are these just fleeting feelings that you can release and say, okay, that's not actually true for me. That's just a limiting belief. That's some negativity that I'm holding on to. And once you've released this energy, then maybe you're more open to how to move forward, how to bring in a beautiful new beginning in some kind of way where there's safety, security, stability, and you're feeling really grounded and safe in all things. Seeing the bigger picture. There's a perspective that needs to be seen and understood that's different than the one that you've been leaning into, essentially. Okay. Surrender to non-action. Yep. Now is the time to be still and not act. Simply breathe and focus on your own power. Let others come to you. Okay. So another big message here so far for my group ones. You don't really need to be doing anything. You don't need to be forcing anything, pushing on anything. Just allow. And this is so that you can get into that receiving mode. Honor your feelings. Widen your perspective. And then it's sort of like your heart opens in this big, beautiful way to receive the answers, to see the way through the forest, to get more clear and be like, okay, I know how to go about achieving this thing and connecting to this energy that I so desperately want. I get this feeling of, I feel desperate around something to have that feeling of security, safety, or to achieve this thing, and I'm frustrated with it. This is something I'm really getting strongly from my message ones. Sometimes hurry up and wait is an adage that we should adopt, and I feel like that's true for you guys at this time. It's sort of like, again, reiterating, you don't need to be doing anything, pushing on anything at this time, just stepping back, retreating within yourself, understanding your feelings, sorting through them, going into peace mode, meditative mode, receiving mode. I keep hearing that like pennies from heaven. You might be receiving some spiritual wisdom, maybe through the ancestors, because that's a thing at the time of this new moon in Cancer. Ooh, look at that. Okay, big message here for you guys. There's something better. Okay, so this is now coming into full view here for me, for you guys. There is something that you want. There's something that you want to achieve, something you want to feel connected to, where there's safety, stability, security. You might be pushing really hard to make something happen around a particular relationship, connection, situation, whatever it is that your heart has had a invested interest in. There is something better. This is why we need to widen your perspective, why we need to honor your feelings. And it could be releasing feelings of disappointment and frustration that the way that you thought it was going to look isn't the way that it's going. But that's because divine intervention is happening in some way where there's something better. And this thing needs to be released so that you can receive that something better. It's sort of like take heart. What's meant for you will never pass you by. Just trust in the process and allow yourself to sort through any frustrated or negative feelings that you might be feeling. I definitely get the sense of like disappointment for some of you. All the more reason to give yourself over to this non-action energy. Get into peace, sort through those feelings, allow yourself to widen that perspective because there is something better waiting for you on the other side of what feels like a little bit of heartache and frustration here, disappointment. But remember, centrally, you've got Capricorn energy, which is so good for achieving things. And you will, message one, I really do feel strongly that you will, but there is a need for some sort of release here and healing. I really feel like this is so possible for you guys. We just need to do some like healing work. You know, guys, I almost feel like putting on some Reiki music in the background as you go about your day, or maybe you're cleaning your home, or you're doing chores, or you're just putzing around your house. I don't know why, but I'm getting the sense that that could be really beneficial for some of you. So maybe give that a go. Music feels like it could be quite healing for you guys and expansive, opening up your mind in some way, like this energy that she's in here. All right. Page of Wands. Nine of Swords. Yeah. Nine of Swords. Definitely there was a big disappointment here. Yeah. Four of Pentacles in reverse. Oops. All right. Just don't get too fussy. I'm telling myself that. Okay. Five of Swords. Yep. Definitely some difficult energy here that you guys have been dealing with. Disappointment for sure. Oh, all right. And then we've got Seven of Wands in reverse. Interesting with this, see the big picture here. And then, ooh, nice. We've got so much fire energy here for you guys, really getting fired up. Queen of Wands. Nice. Okay, I like where we're headed here, message one. So this is essentially painting this picture of I was fired up. There was a new beginning. I followed that. It didn't work out. Lots of disappointment. I'm completely frustrated. There might have been even some sort of financial loss with this heart-centered thing where you were inspired and passionate, that you put yourself in wholeheartedly in some kind of way, like a passion project. Maybe there was some money loss and frustration. Also, I feel like some of you have been dealing with hard energies because this is Cancerian energy. So definitely there might have been some connections that were not supportive, were not helpful, that caused a lot of mental anguish and pain, and maybe even created so much dissonance in some capacity that the right energy wasn't able to be infused in this passion project thing, this thing that you've put creativity behind, I feel like, for a lot of you. And all those energies just sort of made everything go sideways. But you're heading towards Queen of Wands energy, a new beginning where you're feeling very emotionally and mentally connected and sound, centered again, and a new spark, a new beginning around that is worth its weight in gold. With that new perspective, you're going to be able to see the bigger picture. I really do feel like that's on the cards for you, quite literally. And I think all you really need to do is retreat back a little bit to get into this beautiful Queen of Wands energy where you're like, I am fired up. I'm reignited, motivated again. I'm impassioned and inspired, and I've got this. But a few things to be mindful of: the company you keep and the energy that they may bring to the situations that you're trying to create, to achieve, where you're trying to put something stable and secure around it, where you have so much joy and passion that you've put behind it. I think hard work for you too. Do not fear this letting go of money things too. This is a funny little aside that I'm feeling for some of you. If you have a passion project that you're trying to create and you've been hesitant to put any more money behind it because you've already maybe lost money or things have not worked out the way that you had hoped, I really feel like in the very near future, you're going to be able to invest in this thing again, but with that widened perspective, with a better grasp on how to manage this. And I also think better people, new people around you to help you with this, more supportive, because support is on my mind a lot as I'm doing this reading. Lack of support, lack of positive energy around you. which has caused things to go sideways and not work out the way that you wanted. There's so much wands in here. You know, we've got wands and swords and just that one pentacle card, a fear of letting go, a fear of putting your whole self back into this, holding on a little too tightly for fear that, you know, and with this, there's something better. To me, it feels like for a lot of you, a better way, a way that had this thing not gone sideways and went wrong for you, as awful as that sounds and frustrating as that sounds, you wouldn't have been able to reconnect to a better way forward, a broader perspective where that aha energy comes in and passion is reignited and you're inspired again, only with more tools in your toolkit and more wisdom and more understanding and knowledge about how to make this better, stronger. And I can't help but say, I do feel like there's at least a few people in your sphere of awareness, or in your life is a better way of putting that aren't as supportive as they could be. So give yourself over to considering that. Like, who are you allowing into this? Are they the right people? Of course, you have free will to choose. And this is not me telling you to cut people out of your life, but just be mindful of the energies around you. Are they the right people, the right energies to have on board with what it is that you're trying to do and achieve? Like, are they resonant with it? Are you seeing eye to eye? It's okay to go back over that and make decisions around that. And I do feel like that's a thing for some of you that you're going to have to look at. All right. Let me pull some moon cards here. I always think of these as being good tools for like affirmations we could use for ourselves, especially when we're feeling down and out or off. So take that as you will. Message 1. Oop. I thought those were going to fly out, but no. I choose to nourish myself and enrich my life. Yeah. And that's really the big ask right now in order to get into this energy of achieving and go back over things that haven't worked out, look at the company you keep, etc. I choose to nourish myself and enrich my life. Right now, I feel like a lot of you are down and out and you're feeling a little bit defeated and deflated, disappointed, all the D words, I guess. Nice. Okay. I teach people how to treat me. This is really making me feel like there is something to that, the company you keep and the lack of support there. And are they the right people? I teach people how to treat me. I really just think it's reiterating your need to reassess the company you keep, the people that you've brought on board with you to maybe create something, do something that has so much value and positivity around it with all this fire energy. I just don't know that it's the right, again, the right community, the right people around you. I teach people how to treat me. So make sure that you're telling them what you will allow, like healthy boundaries, I think is what I'm trying to say here. Create some healthy boundaries and teach people how to treat you the right way. Yeah, look at this. There's something better. See the bigger picture, widen your perspective, understanding your feelings and releasing. And now we've got, I'm ready for something bigger, better, and brighter. There's something better. Strong message here, group 1. If you take nothing else away from this reading, there really is something better. Sort through your feelings, your disappointments, your frustrations right now. They're totally valid. It's okay to be disappointed about something that you put time, effort, and energy into that hasn't gone the way that you hoped. Totally valid. Just don't get stuck there, because I feel like something is coming up for you. And I don't know why, but check to see when the next fiery full moon is. I'm not entirely sure. My brain fog right now. I can't think of what it is. But something around that timing feels like it's going to be important for you guys, where things start to move and you're impassioned again and inspired, and you see that something better, you can start moving towards it. But right now, give yourself time to heal out what's not worked, what's been frustrating, and to sort through the energies of others that you've absorbed in some way. Because I do think that you have like their beliefs, their thoughts, and they're just not true for you, message 1. They're just not. Again, I'm just going to keep coming back to be mindful of the company you keep. It's okay to say maybe these are not the right people to bring along with me moving forward, especially if you've got like a passion project that you're trying to lift off or do. Okay. Oop, okay, that one. Okay, that's funny. That was just the card of the deck, which I can't use. Just so you know, I'm not lying to you. See, it's just like this. There's nothing on it. We've got, look at this, success, focused on winning or making money over love. And you want to bring both energies together, right? In order to have abundance and prosperity, we should be infusing love and that inspiration, that passion behind whatever we're doing. It should feel no different than when we're in love. I love what I'm doing. I love what I'm creating. And I feel like that's part of the message here for you guys. But success is really waiting for you. And I know that it's been difficult for you guys. Message one. I know that you've been going through it. It's been hard. But be mindful to not make money and success more important than the way that you want to feel with what it is that you're doing. I feel like that's the message for you guys. Learning, getting to know the secrets you both have. Okay. So this is definitely somewhat connected to relationship, whether it's romantic or otherwise, but learning from another person, being open to another person's perspective, widening it, with our hearts open so that we're really taking in how others feel, what they think, their perspectives, because all it does is infuse us with more knowledge and information so that we can make really good decisions moving forward. And I feel like that's what this energy of learning is for you guys. And not having tunnel vision, essentially. Okay, I am going to cap this off with one final message here. I really feel like this new moon's offering you an opportunity for a massive healing first, and then a reset where you see clearly. The fog is lifted, your perspective widens, and you're ready to get going again, only with more tools in your toolkit and more information, more wisdom, more knowledge, and a better understanding. And always, it just feels like. And there really is something better waiting for you. All right. Look at this, big ventures, and it's 12-12. So message one, watch out for seeing 12-12, ones and twos, any combination of it. These are numbers that are really speaking to you right now. They're divinely orchestrated, heaven sent, essentially, trying to guide you. And 12-12 in and of itself can be saying it's time to get out of your comfort zone. So that could be a part of the message here for you guys. It says divine intervention. There's something better. They want you to move out of that tunnel vision and be open to this new thing. Love or other happiness lurks just around the corner. It will be something much better than in your wildest dreams. A rare opportunity, an exciting encounter with like-minded people will exceed your expectations. That is amazing. And it goes so well with the entirety of this message. Do not fear. Do not fret. There is something much better waiting for you on the other side of this frustration and this disappointment, where you will achieve, where you will connect to positive, like-minded people, maybe even love for some of you if you're single. Either way, trust. This is what's on the way to you. Really pay attention to when 12-12 and ones and twos show up for you. I feel like that's a divine download of some sort for you guys. Wow. You might even want to take a picture of that and reread that to yourself. You've got this on the horizon. Definitely feels like divine intervention right now. But for good reason, even if it doesn't feel so good right now, message one. All right, guys, I'm going to leave that there. I hope all of you have the most amazing, beautiful day, and really give yourself over to reflective time right now, reflection and releasing and healing out these emotions. Take care, guys. Hello, message two. So I went ahead and pulled the main overarching energies ahead of time just to save some time in the video, but we will look at them together and see what's showing up for message two. Okay, ascendant and entrance. Okay, so some sort of new beginning here with the ascendant energy, ascending essentially in some way in our life. We're entering a new phase. But let's see what else is coming out with that. These are all upside down. Okay. New moon in Taurus. So we've got new moon energy. Okay. And on the side of challenge, know your worth. You might be shortchanging yourself in some way. Message two. Know your worth. That always makes me feel like not settling. And it's Taurus energy, right? So it definitely has something to do with how we feel safe and secure in this world. Stability. This could be on the home front. This could be, safety and stability around your finances. But because it's under this new moon in Cancer energy, it does make me feel like it's broad. It's like all areas where you're just maybe on the precipice of wanting to settle for less than you deserve, maybe because things have been difficult, but you're about to enter a new beginning of some sort. So it kind of gives me this feeling of like, don't give up. But we'll see what else. Yep, these are all upside down. Okay. Another new moon energy, and it's new moon in Capricorn. Look at that. Step up and lead. This is direct advice, right? So Capricorn energy is all about safety, security, and stability. And so is Taurus, especially when it comes to finances and love, because, you know, home of Venus, Venus likes to be in there. Actually, it's Libra, but also in Taurus. I'm rambling. Either way, stepping up and leading. And I feel like the reason why maybe some of you are not is because you are undervaluing yourself. You're undervaluing what you bring to the table, who you are as a person, what you're capable of. What's stopping this? We don't know. We have to pull more cards to see. But you are being asked to step up in your life and take the lead and create the sense of stability and strength, security and love in your life, right? And you will see ascendance. You will enter a new beginning and it will feel good. But it looks to me like it's self-imposed negative beliefs that are holding you back in some kind of way. So much new energy here, right? And that is exactly what this Ascendant Entrance card is all about, a new beginning. Got that upside down again. Okay, surrender addictions. Whether you're addicted to substances, food, people, sex, or overworking, take action to begin to heal the addiction and replace it with healthier alternatives. Okay. All right, guys, it doesn't even have to be any one of these things that were listed. It might be for some of you. Sometimes we can be addicted to a belief system, to, you know, not seeing our worth, to negative thinking about, I will never be able to have this. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not attractive enough. I'm not enough of all these kinds of things. That can become an addiction. So it could be like doom scrolling on your phone where you waste, you know, a lot of time and hours pass by before you realize you've been, you know, scrolling on your phone for hours. And so, you know, we're very idle and nothing's happening. So no new beginning can take place, right? But it's sort of a way of escaping from having to step up and take the lead in our life in some sort of way. Whatever this is for you, look at those things that you notice that you're doing too much of, or that have become somewhat of an addiction, that are hampering you and hindering you in some way. Because it is definitely stopping your ability to have a new beginning of some sort. Message 2. This one's also upside down. Listen to your intuition. I almost wonder, are some of you trying to drown out your intuition because of what it's telling you? Maybe it's telling you need to step up and lead, to follow this trail. They're giving you signs and synchronicities, but it scares you a little bit because you have issues around your self-worth. I think that might be a thing for some of my message 2 choosers. Again, I just want to keep telling you guys, know your worth. I want to give you a big hug and say that you are worthy, you are capable, you are good enough in all ways. You deserve a beautiful relationship. You deserve safety and security in all ways, in the form of finances and love and connection. And I do think some of you are drowning out your intuition. So taking a step back at this time might be a really good idea so that you guys can tap in to what it is your intuition is trying to tell you. But because this is such a heavy energy here with the addictions and knowing your worth, I think it's really important for my message 2 is to start here. Where are you allowing too much escapism in your life? Where are you overdoing it? And you know on a soul and heart level that this is not helping me, it's hindering me, that you can start working on. This would be the energy to lean into first. And if you can get through that and move through that and navigate that, create healthier habits, you can start working on your mindset, because I do think mindset's a big thing here. And then you'll be able to listen to that intuition and step up and lead, right? Because if, again, entrance and ascendance, this is what wants to show up for you. This is the energy that's coming in for you right now, an ability to connect to a new beginning and see liftoff in it. It's almost like closing one door and entering a new one where there's so much more lightness, security, safety, love, all those kinds of things. I feel like that's really hard for a lot of my message 2s to see and believe right now. Let's pull some, whoop, that was terrible. Let's pull some tarot cards here for you guys. I almost wonder, I almost feel like some of you guys have been burned in connections and relationships in the past, maybe trusting the wrong people. This is general, so that's probably not going to resonate with all of you, and that's fine. You take what resonates and leave the rest, right? Because again, general reading, but I wonder if that has created some blocks in your sense of self, making you feel not worthy, not good enough. I almost wonder too if this could be like in a job situation for some of you, where you just weren't seen and valued the way that you should be, and now you're questioning things about yourself when you shouldn't be. All right. 9 of Swords. This showed up in message 1 too. Yeah, you've been going through it emotionally, all over the place, mentally, really in your head, really into limiting beliefs and self-doubt. I feel like a lot of anxiousness here as well. This is an energy we really want to start with working on here, message 2, so that you can have this new beginning and take the lead in your life. I really think a lot of you are drowning out your intuition. 2 of Pentacles. Balance, right? Which makes sense here, right? To have a new beginning, we need to be in balance emotionally, mentally, physically. Yeah, and this is just not something that I think you've been feeling. You know what it feels like? Feast or famine for some of you. It's either everything's really good for a little while and then boom, everything's not so good. There's a lot of scarcity. Nice. Queen of Cups. This is what you want to move into, message 2. And you know, the fact that it's coming under that entrance, this new beginning, an emotional new beginning where you're feeling really strong and sound and creative and tuned into that feminine energy of intuition, creativity, new beginnings. This is what wants to show up for you. I feel like you are naturally the embodiment of this, but have not felt that connection in a really long time. There's a lot of imbalance there. Yeah. Yep, the Tower in reverse, suggesting that there wants to be a new beginning, that entrance, that ascendance to something new, but that change energy, that element of change is not showing up for you. Don't shoot the messenger, group 2. But I think part of that is because of the way that you're feeling about things, because of addictive behaviors, because of escapism, almost like you're holding yourself back, whether you realize it or not subconsciously, maybe. Which means that Tower moment can't happen, that lightning strike where you're like, okay, I see what I'm going to need to do. I'm ready to do it. And I'm going to step up and take the lead in my life now, right? Where it's just a lot of idleness, change not happening. The Chariot. Okay. So with Ascendant and Entrance and the Chariot energy showing up for you guys, there's some fast moving energy that's going to show up for you. And there's that lightness and that darkness in these horse energies. Be very careful about what you do with this fast moving energy that wants to show up for you. It feels like you want to make sure that you are in that balance, because this is making me think yin yang with the dark and the light. Quick moving, something comes in that offers a new beginning, and Spirit is saying it's time to step up and take the lead. Say yes to that lightness energy. But if you are still stuck in self-doubt, limiting beliefs, escapism behaviors, or addictions, you may miss this opportunity, right? And you never get to have that beautiful Tower moment of change, powerful, divinely orchestrated change. So you're going to really want to give yourself over at the time of this new moon to healing, to understanding yourself, to really having an honest look at where you're giving yourself away to your own detriment, to whatever this is, this addictive behavior. Yeah, oh, nice. I love that. Okay, love where we're going with this. 4 of Cups in reverse, suggesting that you are about to enter a new phase, as this says, and come out of emotional dissonance and disconnect, right? Because if she's upright like that, she's frustrated, she's bored, she's emotionally idle, she's stuck in old habits and ways of thinking and doing that are not helpful, and she can't see that there's this beautiful emotional cup right here that brings in all sorts of positivity, good connection, new beginnings. She can't see it, right? She's too busy looking over here at these cups where things have gone wrong, where there's sadness and heaviness. But it came out in the reverse, suggesting you are about to overcome this. I just feel like there needs to be a willingness to try, to believe. Even if you have to fake it till you make it a little bit, message 2, I highly recommend that you do. Baby step your way out of this darker energy and this funk. Make some time for meditation so that you can really receive intuitive guidance, because I think you absolutely will. I get a strong sense that some of you are quite empathic. That can get overwhelming, and we can disillusion ourselves into thinking everything that we absorb from others is ours, creating a lot of heaviness. I think that you're picking up energies from others. You're absorbing negativity from others. Be very careful about that and the company you keep. Misery loves company, and there's something to that here for me, for some of my group 2 choosers. I feel like, especially now in your life, it's very important that you surround yourself with positive people and good energies. I always pull these moon cards in the hopes that a lot of my watchers can use these as potential affirmations when you catch yourself in, downtrodden thinking, negative thinking, limiting beliefs. So take that as you will. I just want to show you the picture on the back of this. That's a really nice picture. I just looked up at my timer and it said 12:12. So that could be important for some of you. It literally said 12:12 as I looked up. I will persist. My will is strong. That goes so well with know your worth. Please do not settle, message 2, for anything or anyone that is less than what you deserve. You are worthy of beautiful things, emotional fulfillment. You naturally embody that Queen of Cups energy, creative, intuitive, emotionally connected, empathic. These are your superpowers, even if they don't feel like it. Use this as an affirmation. I really think this would be a good idea for you. I will persist. My will is strong. Helping to get yourself out of the depths of the darkness and the funk. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. This feels like it was confirmation for the energy I was touching into. It says, let go of the anxieties of others. So I was talking about, I think that some of you are empaths and you're absorbing negative energy that feels like yours, but it's not. It's like you're taking on their feelings, their thoughts, and their energies. It's creating dissonance and anxiety in you, that 9 of Swords energy. Be very, very careful about the energy and of others and the company you keep, especially now. It's always going to be important. Maybe put in some practices of boundaries, even if you're just using light or affirmations to do it, so that you don't take on other people's stuff, because you definitely are absorbing the anxieties of others and it is affecting you, right? It could be even affecting you with this addictive behavior where you're either leaning into escapism or you have an actual substance that you need to look at. Whatever it is, it's because you're empathic and you really are absorbing other people's energies. Okay, I am connected to the earth and all life around me. Step up and lead, right? And we've got earthy energy showing up there too, right? And it's Capricorn, earth. And then we've got Taurus, also earth energy. So there's definitely a message here that some of you are very ungrounded. Too much in your head, too much living up in the mind, the monkey mind that's loud and sometimes toxic for us when it's telling us negative, bad things about ourselves. It's time to get grounded. I feel like doing some walking meditation type energy, like walking meditations. Keep it just coming to my mind. Going out in nature, noticing your feet, even looking at everything around you and calling it out in your mind, like there's a bird, there's a tree, the trees are green. It sounds so silly, but it really brings us back into our body and into our center and helps us to be more grounded. Just do some grounding meditations too, I think would be a really positive thing for my message to choosers, because you're definitely up too high in the mind and not centered in the here and now. I am connected to the earth and all life around me. Definitely feeling disconnected here, but I highly recommend you start here. There's a thing called earth pulsing too. That could be a good idea for some of the message to choosers. You might want to check that out. I'm pretty sure you can find that kind of thing on YouTube for free. Anything to do with connecting you to nature and keeping you present in your body and out of your head, really good idea for you guys. I feel like some of you guys might receive angelic messages through the birds. I don't know why, like bird visitation. Just keep that in mind. I don't know why I'm feeling like that, but I'm feeling that. Nice. Okay, direction, forging a path forward despite the obstacles. Yes, right. But I think you've been sitting on some heavy energy, some frustration, feelings of self-worth and not knowing your worth, absorbing other people's energies, addictive behavior, right? And this is a very big call to action for you, group 3 or 2, sorry, group message 2. Ugh, to step up and take the lead in your life. It's almost like kind of save yourself, right? Make yourself a priority. Allow yourself to get infused with beautiful, positive energy. But I also think there's a very important reason for this message too. I think it's because the direction for you is about to be revealed and offered. And you're going to want to be ready for this mentally, emotionally, and physically, right? With that Chariot card there coming out of emotional disconnect. Get ready, prepare. Nice. Goddess, affirming the sacred feminine in yourself. Wow. Yes, right? You, male or female, it does not matter. You embody the Queen of Cups energy very strongly. You are very intuitive. You probably have a lot of psychic ability that you're not even aware of, or maybe you are and it scares you a bit. Either way, it's time to be more accepting of this aspect of yourself. Maybe some of you are drowning it out because it's too much and too overwhelming. That could be part of the equation here for some of you. You're being asked to embody this, embrace this. It's a part of who you are. It's your soul. It's your soul gifts. I think some of you are afraid of your intuitive and psychic abilities. Goddess, affirming the sacred feminine in yourself. And and this would be especially true for my guys out there that don't feel comfortable embracing your intuition, embodying that feminine energy does not make you feminine. We all have masculine and feminine energy within us, and ideally they're in balance. But maybe you're somebody that has shut this part of yourself down, that intuition, that spiritual part of yourself, that connection, that empathic energy that you hold so strongly, your ability to tap in to something that a lot of others can't psychically. It's time to say yes to this. And it's also just creativity, generally speaking. You have these powers, this capacity. You are very, very spiritually connected, intuitively connected, empathic, embodying that Queen of Cups energy. And I feel like this is a part of you that you really suppressed. And I feel like Spirit's jumped in to say, no more suppressing it. It's a part of who you are. And the world needs it. Your community needs it. People around you will appreciate it, the right people, right? Taking the step up to lead in this way. No more suppressing it or escaping from it. Ooh, nice. So ones and these zeros, which is great to see because 0 is God force energy, like, everything being absorbed into that vacuum energy for a new beginning. Ones are a new beginning. So pay attention to these numbers. If they come into your sphere of awareness, they are likely trying to tell you something when you see them. So try to remember what you were thinking, feeling, etc. Manifestation, abundance, money, dreams, vision, and prosperity. Focus on the good and maintain your concentration on the outcomes you desire. It's time to put your faith and time into your ideas and pursue your goals with all your might. You have such a beautiful, courageous, and brave spirit. Yes, I love this for you guys. It makes so much sense with the rest of this reading. I think that you are hiding in the shadows. There's a lot of fear of being seen, fear of your own gifts and talents, very spiritual. I would say take a snapshot of this picture and read it back to yourself and pay attention to when those numbers show up for you because they are definitely guiding you and leading you in some way. You are very strongly and powerfully psychic, I think, empathic, intuitive, all the spiritual gifts. You have them. I think it scares you guys a little bit, but it is time to slowly and surely baby step your way into this energy and embody who you are with no apologies, because you've got new energy that's showing up for you. Positive new energy, which is going to lead to a new beautiful beginning with that God force energy backing you up. All right, I'm going to leave that there. I hope all of you have the most amazing, beautiful day. Take care, guys. Hello, message 3. So I went ahead and pulled the main overarching energies to save a bit of time in the video, but we're going to look at them together. Okay, we've got collaborate, and it's Aquarius energy. I've got the number 11 up there for the 11th house, Aquarius. Collaborate. So essentially, being that this is central to your reading, there's some sort of need for more collaboration. Communication of some sort comes to my mind as well. And we've got that water energy, right? Aquarius is the water bearer. So there's definitely an emotional component here to maybe why you need to collaborate or why maybe you haven't collaborated. But we'll look at the rest of the cards to see what shows up. Okay. Full moon in Aries energy, fiery energy, and it says cool your emotions. All right. So there's that communication, right? I need to collaborate and I think communicate clearly without all the emotional fiery energy there. So if you are feeling like I can't speak right now because I'm too fired up and I'm too angry or frustrated, absolutely listen to that because it is coming in the side of challenge. Perhaps some of you have already communicated this way and it's created some disconnect or some problems within connections, relationships, whatever it is. Take a step back and cool yourself off, get yourself sorted before you go back in to try to come together again and collaborate. Oof, okay. First quarter moon in Capricorn. Capricorn energy is showing up like crazy. And it's really interesting because new moon in Cancer wants us to create safety and security, especially on the home front. And Capricorn energy is great for that. And this is saying unleash your kindest self. All right. So message 3, don't shoot the messenger, but I'm definitely feeling like maybe some of you have said and done things in anger, or you've been showing up very emotionally with frustration and anger. Maybe you've had a bit of a sharp tongue. We're human. We all do this from time to time. But I feel like Spirit's hiding your need to take a step back and get yourself sorted emotionally, get back into your center, so that when you come back together with others, family, romantic partnership, friends, whatever it is, you can collaborate and communicate from this place, from your kindest self, with your heart clear and open. Yeah, I think some of you have definitely had some dissonance and frustration and arguments and conflict with people that you likely have connection with, like, again, family, friends, a partner. Ooh, okay. Surrender your fear of intimacy. You are ready to let love in. Compassionately identify and begin to release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. Okay. Message 3. I feel like some of you definitely have a block in your heart space. This could be due to something that's happened in the past that made you feel like you always have to be on guard, which might be why maybe some of you show up strong and fierce, like you're ready to battle. And you might show up in that energy in relationships and connections, romantic or otherwise, always guarded, always ready for that fight. But I feel like this is highlighting your need to release that energy, look at whatever that pattern is, so that you can invite in more love, more beauty, more positive collaboration, kindness, and softness of being, whether this is in a romantic partnership or not. I do think maybe some of you are going through it with a romantic partner right now, though. Or perhaps you've had a lot of issues if you're single with partnership, where it ends up being like this, where things get fiery and hot, everything goes sideways, and you show up in that warrior energy of Aries rather than in that the softer energy of vulnerability and just being honest with your emotions about how you're feeling. I feel like that's a thing for some of you. And this is saying you're ready to let love in. Compassionately identify and begin to release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. Where are you guarding your heart and where is it coming from? How can you begin to change the narrative and slowly release it and unleash your kindest self? Not feeling like you always have to be ready for a fight and on guard. Oh, wow. Okay. Peaceful resolution, right? This is your heads up from Spirit. Peaceful resolution. There is a peaceful resolution in the very near future waiting for you guys. So definitely some of you have been going through it in your romantic partnerships or with friends and family where there's a lot of love and connection that way, right? Heartstrings attached. There is a peaceful resolution on the horizon for you guys, but it does require you to sort yourself out, understand the way that you're blocking or guarding your heart. I feel like for fear, that always ready to defend, this is probably a habit that was picked up in childhood for a lot of you. Looking at that first before coming in to collaborate and bring everything back into a peaceful resolution is the big ask here. this will provide that Capricornian energy of security and stability, and that beautiful Aquarius energy where we're sharing and everything's moving smoothly and we're having positive, open communication. All right, let's pull some tarot cards here for you guys. You know, it's really funny too, because I feel like Gen X energy. I'm a Gen X, and I feel this shows up a lot, this kind of energy, because a lot of us grew up being told, you know, don't cry or I'll give you something to cry about, toughen up, rub some dirt on it, not to have our feelings or emotions. But I will say the only feelings and emotions that seemed to be accepted, widely accepted, was anger and strength. And for some reason, I'm feeling like that's a thing here for some of my message 3 choosers. I'm more comfortable showing up with this than being vulnerable and emotionally open, softer, right? Like it's never been appreciated or valued by anybody. So I kind of suppress that part of me. I don't know what it is, but I'm feeling that really strongly here for your reading. This is general, so that's not going to make sense for all of you. So if that doesn't resonate, no worries. Just take what does and leave the rest. I did have a card that flew out, so I'm going to have to pause and pick it up. Sorry, guys, this card fell out. And it is Judgment. Yeah, this is making sense to me, actually. With cool your emotions and surrender your fear of intimacy, that vulnerability that's necessary for all connections, romantic or otherwise, to be made harmonious. I feel like this isn't something that you really want to practice, like sound judgment around the whole thing, like kind of zooming out and widening your perspective. Again, I feel like this is like a deeply rooted pattern for a lot of my group 3s where that's just not something that's ever been valued. I've always got to be ready to be strong and not let my like emotional, vulnerable underbelly be seen or shown to anybody. But it's what's being asked of you right now. It's really what's necessary. Yeah, the Hero of Hands. Challenge, right? To use that sound judgment and assessment of the facts, removing yourself from the emotional things and feeling really connected to what's real and true. This is just a reiteration of that. I feel like for some of you, it'd be a really good idea to do some inner child work, facing the shadows within. I actually have just a short 5-minute meditation around that if you're interested, but there are so many out there that take a deeper dive, much longer. That might be a really good idea for some of you guys too. Either way, not really feeling emotionally connected to your higher self, wanting to bring that sense of sound judgment so that you can bring yourself into balance. Yeah, Ace of Pentacles in reverse, right? There could be some frustration here around money, especially in like romantic partnership that has caused some issues. Yeah, 7 of Cups and choices. Yep. Yeah. Trying to choose. I almost wonder if some of you are ready to run away from something, especially in partnership or connection. Again, because of that fear of intimacy, really being vulnerable and open. I do wonder if some of you have been having hardship, like dealing with money situations in a romantic partnership. And for others, I just feel like this has more to do with that foundation and security, and really not wanting to choose the emotionally vulnerable path, but needing to take a step back and look at it to make better choices for yourself. That sound judgment over here, that connection to something bigger and more meaningful. There's healing I feel here that wants to be had for you. Message 3, especially in that heart space. All right. Yep. 2 of Cups in reverse, suggesting you've definitely been going through it in connection, not seeing eye to eye, bumping heads. For some of you, this is definitely around safety, security, financial things in your romantic partnership. For others, where this is wider, broader, and has more to do with like family, friends, connections, it just feels like, again, arguing, not seeing eye to eye, not feeling metaphorically any strength or stability around these connections, feeling like you've always got to fight and defend. But not showing up when you are angry, when you're in the thick and throes of your frustration, when you're in that energy of needing to defend, breathing fire essentially, is really important for you to step back and sort yourself out before going back in and collaborating and finding your way to a peaceful resolution. Yeah. There is a big disconnect here from my message 3 choosers, from your power, from your magic, from your higher self, with that Hierophant, not pulling down divine wisdom and guidance, right? Feeling more, it feels like you're almost too much in the mundane, in the earthly life, day-to-day things that really can cause us all to be bogged down. It feels like that. It's time to go higher, message 3, to open yourself up to positivity, power, magic, divine wisdom, and guidance, to get yourself emotionally centered and understand those aspects of yourself that show up ready to fight. I keep imagining like a dragon showing up and just fire shooting out of their shooting out of their nostrils. I don't know if this is an energy that you're more comfortable with, or you can embody that from time to time. Maybe you're even a fire sign, or you have strong fire placement somewhere in your astrological chart. It feels like that's kind of this go-to thing for some of you. But in order to get to this peaceful resolution and sort things out and gain that security and stability in your romantic partnerships, or in connection to family and friends where things are just not going smoothly and no one's seeing eye to eye, it requires you to show up differently. I have to say, message 3, with your emotions in check. Kind of like, we're all emotional creatures and we're allowed to have our feelings, but we need discipline around them sometimes so that they're not always running the show. And it feels a little bit like that for some of you. All right, let me pull some moon cards. I always tell everybody that I think of these moon cards as positive affirmations that we could use, especially when we feel like we need to get sorted or we're off in some kind of way. When we catch ourselves in negativity or unhelpful thinking. We have a card that flew out here. I have power. It is real. I wonder if some of you feel like if you don't show up like with fire and brimstone, you won't be heard or seen. That could also be something connected to your past, your childhood, where if you weren't loud and in your face, you were overlooked or unnoticed. You are powerful without having to be in your face. This is how I feel. This is the images that Spirit's giving me. Like, you can show up with assertiveness and strength without having to be in your face. This is the energy that comes from in your face energy. But I feel like for a lot of you, that wasn't true for you growing up. Unless you were really pushy and making sure that you were seen and heard, by almost like standing up that chair and being really loud and saying, I'm here, listen to me. You weren't seen or heard. But I feel like that's not true for you now at this stage in your life. And you can be seen and heard in a beautiful, assertive way with vulnerability and positive emotion with your kindest self and still be understood, even if it doesn't feel like that right now. Okay. I dropped that card. I let go. I release. I am within perfect possibility. Yeah. Not much I need to say there. When you feel yourself feeling off or out of sorts, especially emotionally, just say this to yourself. I let go. I release. I am within perfect possibility. Yes. I love that. Especially as it's connected to collaboration. I will not remain stuck. I choose change, right? Digging your heels in, right? Stubbornness. Sometimes I think stubbornness and digging our heels in is really good, especially if we're trying to do something or create something. That stubbornness can be positive, but not by way of connections. It's not. So I feel like that's a little bit of the message here for some of you. Are you a little bit stubborn with that? Do you let it carry over into your connections and relationships? I will not remain stuck. I choose change. Yeah. So I think it's just that open-mindedness, right? Unleashing your heart really is a big theme here for my message 3s. But I think it feels scary to a lot of you guys because, again, I just feel like it wasn't always appreciated or valued for many of you growing up. I'm going to pause to pick up the card that I fell there that we already read. All right. That was the I have power. It is real. That would be a really good affirmation information for you guys. All right. I feel like, you know what it's like? It's like you guys have had to be very loud warriors rather than quiet warriors. But I get the sense that you actually have a lot of quiet warrior strength within you where you can bring in balance and peaceful resolution. It's just you're very disconnected from it because, again, it hasn't been something that you've been able to lean into in a way that's been effective in your life thus far. But you're coming into a time, I feel like, where that's shifting. I totally understand that vulnerability is scary, though. Everybody always thinks that, strength and allowing our anger to be brought out and, fighting the good fight seems like strength. But I actually think vulnerability is the strongest thing that we can lean into. It is definitely not weakness. So maybe remind yourself of that, message 3, if you feel really uncomfortable with the idea of leaning into more softer emotions and vulnerability. Make space, needing some time alone to think things over. Totally makes sense, especially if you're on the precipice of wanting to walk away from something or let go of something because it's been really hard and emotionally heavy. Really get centered, get your emotions sorted out before making any big decisions, message 3. Direction, forging a path forward despite the obstacles. Okay. I want to say something here, message 3, and I don't think this is going to be for all of you because it's general, but there are some of you, you might be ready to walk away from a relationship or a connection because it's just been so hard or heavy, especially if this is romantic. I think this is in a romantic way. Before making a decision like that, really get yourself sorted out. There is a way through and forward. There are peaceful resolutions at hand. It does require you to show up in a softer, more vulnerable way. Be willing to speak out the real emotions that you're feeling that don't feel safe to say. But I think some of you are so close to wanting to give up on something, a connection, a situation, without having all the information and being too much in a heavy, angry energy while making this decision. You want to make this decision from the most clear, concise place, right? You want to make sure that you're really sorted before you make any big life-altering decisions. But for others, needing to think things over. It could even be that you're ready to walk away from friends and family, or maybe even a potential new love interest for some of you without having enough information. And it's very much connected to that energy of, I'm not good at collaborating like this. I've never been comfortable or told that it's okay to be vulnerable and emotionally open. I do have this fear of intimacy. I don't really know how to show up without all this like fire energy. But this is what you want to make space for before making any hard and fast decisions, message 3. You want to be able to get into that sound energy of sound judgment, owning your power and your magic. You have power. It is real. There's a lot of disconnect, I think, from your true strength, your spiritual and intuitive abilities and connections to something higher, like that God energy, like not feeling connected to that. Give yourself over to all this kind of energy this week, especially message 3. I feel like it's going to be profound and bring in some really beautiful insight for you guys. It's this feeling of don't be too quick to burn bridges just yet. Sort yourself out. Give yourself time for that. Ooh, okay, that came out really fast, and all my cards are falling, rather, not falling. I'm going to have to pause and pick that one up. Sorry about that, message 3. Okay, so we've got 1111 that flew out. So paying attention to these numbers, and ones are always about new beginnings, new doorways opening up for us. And it says high vibes, change, optimism, joy, communication, messages, good news, expression, and high vibes. Work with what you have and it will get you places. Count your blessings and acknowledge your dear ones. You will find inspiration and figure out a way forward. You might also be getting some good news soon. Nice. I love that. I feel like the message for you guys is to allow yourself to get into this high vibrational energy, sorting out your emotions, looking at your patterns when it comes to fear around intimacy and vulnerability. All of this will bring in higher vibes and lead you to that peaceful resolution where things start really turning for you, right? Collaboration is good. We've got 11 here, right? And here. So this number, 11 and 1, is really, really powerful for you guys. Oh. So be really open to what you're thinking, feeling, receiving at the time of seeing these numbers. There are definitely signposts guiding you through this situation to a better resolution. You might want to take a picture of that message. I feel like it goes so well with your message. Actually, all the angel cards are this week. All right, guys. I hope all of you have the most amazing and beautiful day, and really give yourself over to healing out some of this heaviness, that these blocks in your heart, that your guarded heart energy, because I feel like if you do, you're going to be amazed at what comes through as a result and how you feel as a result of doing just that. Okay, guys, take care. Hello, message 4. So I went ahead and pulled all the main overarching energies to start with, just to save a bit of time in the video, because these are longer videos, but we will look at them together and see. Okay, upside down. Okay, we've got 8th house energy, which is Scorpio energy, right? So, and it says mystery, which is very apt with the Scorpio house. It's all about embracing mystery, the unknown, not always being able to see your way through the darkness, or fearing that darkness in some kind of way. We'll see what else shows up with that. Either way, if it's the main energy, you're being asked in some way, shape, or form to embrace the unknown and the mystery around things, rather than feeling like you have to have everything all figured out. Oh, these are upside down. Okay, last quarter moon in Gemini, clear your mind, coming out in the side of challenge. So a lot of overthinking likely happening for many of you right now. Too much in your head and too much noise, just a lot of noise. I keep feeling like you need to drown out the noise, almost like you need to, like you've got a radio playing in your head. It almost feels like some of you are replaying something in your mind. And just in general, I just get a strong sense of overthinking a thing rather than just, embracing it, the unknown, and just going ahead, even if you don't have it all figured out. Ooh, okay. We got a lot of watery energy here. 8th house, right? Scorpio's a water sign. And now we've got Pisces energy showing up. And it's also a water sign, full moon in Pisces. And Pisces can bring about illusion and disillusionment sometimes, right? Which makes sense with that Gemini energy, when there's so much noise in the mind that you can't see the forest for the trees, all clogged up, really stuck. It feels like stuck energy. But where might you be replaying a situation that is in relation to connection, where there's a need for healing around it and forgiveness, trying to maybe see the other person's perspective, or just having a new perspective around a situation so that you can release it from your mind and your soul and move forward in some kind of way, embracing the unknown and mystery of things, because it feels like it's acting as a block for a lot of my message 4 choosers here. Let's see what else. It's upside down. Ooh, surrender to your full power. Your life is calling for you to step into your full power rather than playing it small. Okay. So there is definitely an emotional disconnect from who you truly are, what you're capable of, your ability to navigate the darkness and the unknown and embrace mystery. And I feel like for a lot of you, it's connected to people and situations, holding on to emotional heaviness from things from the past that's acting like a block and preventing you from doing just this, embracing your power in some kind of way. I don't know why, but I'm feeling like family situations for some of you. Yeah. Okay. Recovery. Yep. I feel like this is a recovery of spirit for some of you, almost like whatever this situation has been that has caused you to feel less than and not sorted emotionally, living out certain situations and things again and again in your mind, like a broken record on replay, where there's a need for forgiveness so that you can release it and let it go. This is like you recover your spirit, a part of yourself, almost like you've had a fragmented spirit in a spiritual life up to this point. And there's a potential for recovery here to get into a better energy emotionally, to embrace these aspects of yourself that are quite powerful. Much like I think it was message 2 that was really, really spiritually connected, like to those who have strong spiritual gifts. I feel like that might be a thing for a lot of my message 4 choosers too. I think you might be very spiritually gifted, but there's a disconnect from that part of yourself. Giving yourself over to some contemplation and reflection to figure out what created this dissonance within you, this fear of embracing mystery and the unknown, really stepping into your full light and your full power. It definitely feels like it's connected to others. It could be partnership, a romantic partnership. It could be family members, things from the past where you're on replay with it. And there's a need to release, let go, and forgive so that you can move on. I always tell everybody, forgiveness is never for the other people. It's not a way to say, it's okay that you did this thing or said these things to me. It's for you so that you don't carry it forward, right? Because it becomes a pattern and a belief system, even if we try to tell ourselves it's not. And I feel like that's a part of the equation here for you guys. It's been a very disempowering thing that you've had to deal with. All right. There we go. Message for okay, 8 of Cups in reverse. There's something that you've definitely not been able to emotionally walk away from, like where that forgiveness energy hasn't been leaned into, still stuck in that loop. It's just a reiteration of, what's been held in the mind and your emotional body that needs to be released. The Sun. That's that disconnection from spirit that I think a lot of you have been having or feeling. That light, that recovery, like it's like recovering your spiritual self again. There's a disconnect from that where you feel ready to go, where you feel empowered in that lion energy or lioness. This is something that needs to be readopted by you guys. This is an energy that you want to get into. But what are you emotionally holding on to that's keeping you stuck and out of that light body? Temperance. Okay, so a need for balance, light and dark, right? There's that sun energy and that dark. Intuition versus like forward movement, action. Needing to find a balance in that. Tempering your energy. Funny though, because I'm really attracted to the intuitive side here. I think some of you have had a bit of a disconnect from your intuition lately because of being stuck in your mind and your emotions in some way. All right. Knight of Pentacles. Okay. Three of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, I think I see what's happening here. You've definitely experienced a lack of support in your life and stability and security around supportive people. Like-minded people just never seems to happen for a lot of you, or if it does, it's not long lasting, like non-committal energy. Just definitely feeling disconnected from the support that you need and desire. An imbalance there for sure. Nice. Okay, Ace of Swords. I love to see that in your outcome position. Cutting through all the mental noise, right? Which we have up here. Clear your mind. Gemini energy, air energy, really being in the head. You are about to receive more clarity, more connection, more balance. But it does hinge on you looking at these heavy emotional things that you need to walk away from so that you can reconnect to your power and your light and your soul body. I definitely think that some of you are very spiritually connected, even if you don't realize it. You have the capacity to tap into divine wisdom and connection, like to channel their wisdom, their guidance, their messages, to intuitively receive. I think even psychically inclined for some of you. I'm even feeling like some of you might even have mediumship ability, but there is a need to release some heaviness from the past. Very, very much so. And I feel like a lot of this dissonance and inability to forgive and hold on to anger around others and how they've shown up for you is really holding you back. And I do feel like you've lacked a lot of support in romantic partnership, but also in like friends and family connections where people just don't see you for who you are or haven't supported you or haven't understood you. And I think it's created a lot of imbalance and tension within you where it's hard for you to embrace this fullness of yourself, right? Because, well, when I show up like this, it's never really appreciated, and I lose people, or I fight with people, or we end up at odds, and it's frustrating. But I feel like the tides want to turn in your favor at this time so that you can get really sorted out and clear and step back into your power. And I feel like that's because you have a higher calling message for. This feels like it's a part of the process of getting you to start moving towards your higher calling, embracing the mystery and the unknown of things, especially spiritually. I think it's going to take you places, but these energies need to be sorted out first. All right, I'm going to pull some moon cards. And I always tell everybody that these moon cards are really good to use as affirmations, especially where we're stuck or where things have been frustrating and we're not seeing for momentum, or we're not feeling emotionally connected the way that we would like to. I always say, when you catch yourself in those energies, use these as affirmations to help snap you back out. Yeah, life is conspiring for me. Definitely like a sense of I'm having a hard time believing, right? Embracing the mystery, trusting. Life is conspiring for me, even if it doesn't feel like that right now, and you're in the thick of heavy emotions and hardship. It really is being brought together for you so that you can step into your power more fully. Life is conspiring for me. I invite peace within myself. I ripple this outwards. Yep, right. That forgiving energy. You've been in heavy energy. I invite peace within myself. I ripple this outwards. I think that you're somebody who has natural healing abilities as well, message for, and you might not even realize that. But when your energy's off, other people are probably affected because you hold healing ability in your aura, in your field. So when you hold peace, you give that out to others. That's not to say you're not human and that you don't experience hardship and frustration, especially by way of other people and their lack of support and understanding around you and your life. But if you can embody this energy more and more and release the forgiveness or the heaviness where there's unforgiveness in your heart, it feels so expansive for you, where you really do recover that spirit. And you also realize that other people's thoughts, beliefs, and opinions about you are not real. It's just their opinions. What do they say? Everybody's opinions are like, I don't know if I should say it. Opinions are like buttholes. Everybody's got one. That's not cute to say, but it's true. And I feel like it's about realizing that for yourself and not absorbing their thoughts, beliefs, and opinions around you. I just really feel like on two fronts in romantic connection, you've been disappointed and burned, and it just hasn't worked out for you. But I also think that's true for you in family and friend connections too. People just not appreciating you. And it's been really hard to let that go, emotionally walk away from that kind of energy and just forgive. Look at this. I am curious about my true nature. I seek to understand myself. That's that recovery of spirit where you felt disconnected from your true spiritual self. Being curious about yourself, embracing mystery, right? That was the main energy. I'm curious about myself. Allow yourself to be. Allow yourself to move into those shadowy energies, that darkness. I feel like it has so much to offer. There's so much to be understood and reclaimed about yourself if you do that. But working out your emotions first is the first step to get you there. Yeah, I think that you guys have a lot of gifts that are more spiritually based than you realize, and they have not been fully realized. And you are coming into a time under this new moon in Cancer to really get real and honest with yourself, your emotions. Choose to forgive those that have hurt you because of their own opinions, beliefs, and perspectives on life, because they see through a different lens than you. Not for them, but for you, so that you can move forward and start inviting in better connections, romantic and otherwise, better people, like-minded people who really will appreciate you for you. And it will help bring you back into balance, recovering that sense of self and spirit again. Yep, cycle, stuck in a pattern that is hard to break out of. Yes. So, message 4, this beginning point for you stepping out of this pattern is to look at your emotions and the pains that you're holding on and how you show up because of them, emotionally, mentally, how you might hold yourself back, how you might show up with frustration and anger, especially in romantic partnership or with friends and family who you've always felt like you've had to defend yourself, right? That you can't just be relaxed and vulnerable. Looking at these kinds of patterns and cycles so that you can break free of them. I feel like that doesn't just help you on a personal level, but I think it helps you on a spiritual level to get into this recovery of spirit. It almost feels like you would be shocked at the power that you start to get back into and receive as a result of releasing these heavier emotions. Stuck in a pattern that is hard to break out of. Yes. It's just reiterating what we already are seeing here. Big love. This is the one you have both been waiting for. Ooh, okay. All right. Message 4. For those of you that have been waiting for a romantic partnership, somebody that does see you for who you are, loves who you are, would never want to change that for a second, wants to show up for you in the very near future. But you may not receive this person very well if we haven't dealt with our pains from the past, our emotional heaviness. For others, where this is not about romantic connection, this big love is likely by way of community or like-minded individuals where you feel seen and heard finally. And if you can end off this cycle, lean into forgiveness for yourself, release yourself from the pains of the past and those that didn't support you, you're going to walk into this energy of big love. Yeah, this is the one that you have been waiting for. I almost feel like for some of you, it could be an opportunity that just makes your heart sing too. So a few things going on there. Some of you are about to receive your true romantic partner, the one that will love you for all aspects of you, the good, the bad, the ugly, warts and all. They wouldn't want to change any of it for a second. And for others, it's this big love of community, friendship, connection. It feels very light, like I'm getting this like tingling sensation in my heart space. But I also feel like some of you are about to just experience a heart opening and that energy and that feeling and vibe of big, big love where you're like, oh my gosh, I see so much clearer. I feel so much lighter. I'm walking through the doors of the unknown and my energy and vibration is rising. I'm in my power. It just feels all around good, but needing to really disconnect from the emotional heaviness and situations of the past. I definitely think that you're somebody who has dealt with a lot of disappointment from others, and it's almost like you've learned to only rely on yourself, and that's a hard pattern to break out of. Ooh, all right. We've got 1441, so 1441. Combination of ones and fours are going to be really important for you guys at this time. So fours are connected to the angels, home, family. Cancer energy is also the 4th house, so there's something to that. And then ones are new beginnings. So any combination of these numbers are going to be speaking to you right now. Message 4, and your message 4 too. So pay attention. And it says family ties. Connections, friendships, romantic relationships, and family ties. How do you move forward toward your life's true calling? Do what makes you happy. Your enthusiasm is what keeps you going. Follow your interest if it's piqued by something. Following these routes will help you discover your life's purpose. Wow. So there's a lot, just like in this message where there feels like there's a lot of layers here. For some of you, you're about to make new connections, romantic relationships coming in for you, new friendships that are heart-centered. But for others, this is like passion and purpose, this spiritual connection to something much bigger and higher when you kind of embody more of your soul self, that not so fragmented anymore because you've let go of the emotional pains of the past, kind of like opens up this doorway to a new path. Lots going on here for you guys. Either way, it's time to embrace this beautiful energy coming in for you guys, to release the heaviness and move forward. As it says too, follow your interest if it's piqued by something. Following these routes will help you discover your life's purpose. I also feel like that's a message for some of you that's going to lead you to somebody too. Oh, I really want to go check out this place or do this thing. I wouldn't normally do this, but for whatever reason, I'm feeling compelled. You might have like a chance meeting, like a cute meet cute there where you meet somebody romantic or otherwise, where there's a connection forged and it's positive. So be open to that message for, and you might want to take a snapshot of that because I always feel like this card's so important for everybody to remember. That last card. All right, I think I'm going to leave that there. I hope all of you have the most amazing, beautiful day and really give yourself over to some of this emotional release. Really look at your thoughts and patterns and choose to lean into forgiveness energy. Not for them, but for you, because it's holding you back in some way. All right, guys, I'm going to leave that there. Take care.